Thank you very much, Ms. Thomas, for those wonderful words. I'd like to now introduce Rockefeller University's Leon Hess professor, Titia de Lange, who heads our Laboratory of Cell Biology and Genetics. Dr. de Lange is a leader in research on telomeres, special structures that cap and protect chromosome ends. She recently received an NIH Director's Pioneer Award recognizing scientists whose work is exceptionally innovative. And her work is providing insights into both cellular aging and genetic processes that underlie cancer. Tonight you will be hearing from Dr. de Lange in her capacity as a member of the selection committee for the Pearl Meister Greengard Prize. The selection committee is chaired by Rockefeller's President Emeritus, Thorsten Wiesel, but he could not be with us tonight. So we are grateful that Titia is here to come to the podium, and we are grateful for the efforts of that committee in identifying truly extraordinary scientists such as Pippa for this award. Titia.
Thank you, Paul. I'm really thrilled to be here tonight as a representative of the selection committee on this wonderful occasion. But before I introduce the awardee, I would like to make a few personal comments, a few of the thoughts I have on the importance of this award. So as you know, Paul and Ursula instituted this award to be restricted to women, and this was a first. And frankly, it came as quite a bit of a surprise to most of us who learned about the award. When Paul announced this award during his Nobel Prize press conference in this room, the day he learned about the Nobel Prize, I and other women scientists in the audience felt deeply affected by this unusual gesture. And Paul told me that later, as this became known, he received an avalanche of emotional letters and emails from many women scientists all over the world who were all so touched by his understanding of the plight of women in science. Women in the biomedical sciences deserve and also need more recognition. The position of women has indeed improved over the past decades, especially here in the United States, in great part thanks to affirmative action and also thanks to the efforts of the NIH. But we have a long way to go. There continues to be a higher drop-off rate for women during the transitions from PhD to postdoc, to assistant professor, to tenured professor. Women remain underrepresented at most leading biomedical institutions, including this one, I'm sad to say, and women have only recently begun to be appointed to leadership positions at leading biomedical centers. Research at MIT and other elite universities has shown that women scientists receive less than their share of the institutional resources, while often carrying larger teaching loads and doing more committee work. Women have not yet entered the top ranks in biotechnology or the pharmaceutical industry, and academic women largely miss out on the famously lucrative opportunities enjoyed by most of their male colleagues who are consultants, serve on scientific advisory boards, and are founders of companies. And women are also very underrepresented when it comes to receiving prestigious awards, accolades, and exceptional funding opportunities. This needs to change, and we need a general commitment to enforce that change. We need the women that are committed to this cause, but we also need the men. For every Larry Summers, we desperately need a Paul Greengard. It's my belief that Paul's award will have a major impact. This award brings much needed attention to an outstanding women scientist on a yearly basis, but it will also bolster the morale of all other women who do biomedical research under what are still and for too many suboptimal conditions. I'm personally deeply grateful to Paul, and I hope you will join me in thanking Paul for his selfless and visionary act. Paul. When the selection committee convened in 2004 to consider candidates for this year's prize, the meeting was very brief because Pippa, Dr. Marrack, immediately surfaced as our unanimous choice. We all felt she was the best recipient because of her momentous contribution to the field of immunology. Pippa made not one, but 3 major discoveries. The first discovery was the T-cell receptor. Until the early 1980s, nobody really knew how T-cells, which are the immune cells that derive from the thymus, detect foreign elements such as bacteria and viruses. And Pippa discovered the molecules on the surface of the T-cell that act as receptors for small pieces of proteins derived from these invading microbes. She found that each T-cell makes a different receptor, so that a very large repertoire of different proteins from the invaders can be detected, allowing our defense against so many diseases. Her discovery of the T-cell receptor revolutionized cellular immunology and spawned a whole new field. Our second major discovery involved T-cell tolerance. T-cell tolerance is the process by which the body ensures that it does not generate T-cells that react with our own cells. And Pippa showed that this is done by eliminating self-reactive T-cells in the thymus before they can do harm in the periphery. Her work on this certain process has important implications for autoimmune diseases. And then a few years later, yet another discovery came from her lab, in which she identified unique antigens that have the ability to activate many different T cells so that the body now mounts an exaggerated immune response, which is at the heart of toxic shock. Born and educated in England, Pippa received her doctorate from Cambridge, UK. She pursued postdoctoral training in San Diego and in Rochester before settling down in Denver. There she runs her lab together with her husband, John Kapler. They are both HHMI Howard Hughes investigators, both members of the National Academy, and they are co-recipients of many awards, including the Horowitz Prize from Columbia University. Pippa is also elected Fellow of the Royal Society, a very prestigious distinction, rarely conferred on women. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you the recipient of this year's Pearl Meister Greengard Prize. Pippa, would you please come to the podium?